That's fine. Hey, we're back. Look at that. We'll figure it out at some point, this whole YouTube nonsense, isn't it? Hey, so everybody, that is the third attempt of us doing this video. That's not getting old whatsoever. That's what I like. How are you doing, Fabio? Thanks for letting us know. We actually didn't realize we were not live, so we were talking for 9 minutes in the emptiness of the void, which is great. All right, come back here a little bit.
Yes.
And the good thing is that we are now well prepared for all those questions. So
Yeah.
let's get the ball rolling today. We are going to do a very punchy live show. We're changing a little bit of things here. This is how that's going to work now for the live show. We are going to take one subject, one topic that we want to talk about on a certain week. And then what we're going to be doing is that we're going to scour Facebook, Instagram, Tick and the Talk, YouTube, and also the emails question that we received from everybody over the last decade running our travel guide. And we're going to answer all those questions about a topic. We're going to try to keep it to about 20 questions, and that should help us go quite quickly over a certain subject. For the first week, we decided to talk about the weather because why not? Everybody likes to talk about the weather. You're grandma sitting on the bench, aren't you?
Lovely weather today.
Oh, isn't it? So yeah, here you go. So if you have any questions of your own, put them in the live chat right now and we'll answer them. It doesn't have to do with the subject. We're just having a little bit of fun. Fabio says he feels the cringe or the tick and the talk. Says.
How can you not cringe?
Well, you know, I'm here to provide all your cringe-worthy moments. Okay. Let's get started with the question. First questions come from Andy, and Andy says, is it true that you can experience 4 seasons in one day in New Zealand, Laura?
Yes, Andy, it is true. Yes, you can definitely experience 4 seasons in one day in New Zealand.
Yes, there's many times when we start driving and it's snowing around, and then after only minutes, the weather just clears up. It's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, New Zealand has a maritime climate, so that's the ocean sort of changing the weather continuously around this island of ours in the South Pacific. So yeah, definitely there are factors that are changing the weather constantly. So therefore, we do highly recommend that when you are out and about in New Zealand that you pack extra layers, you have a rain jacket, you have layers that you can take on and off because, you know, the weather doesn't always change for the worse. Sometimes it is sunny, so you may want to take off some layers as well. You know, just be flexible.
Here you go. More information on NZ Pocket Guide. It's your full travel guide to New Zealand. It's all free for you to use. How good is that?
Oh,
that's
great.
pretty handy. Yeah.
Great.
Moving on. Oh, Fabio says, I haven't been here for a while. So much to do here in Austria. I hope you are well in New Zealand. We are very well in New Zealand indeed.
We were saying to you before we realized that we weren't actually talking to you that, yeah, we haven't seen you in a while. So it's great to see you back here on the live chat.
Yeah, will you join at 9 o'clock, the Patreon call? Just coming for a chit chat? Or not? Let us know. Okay, any questions about the New Zealand weather or about traveling in New Zealand or any of the destinations that are scrolling at the bottom? The right now it says Tonga. Just ask. We are here for you. In the meantime, we're continuing answering all your questions. The next question comes from Lisa, and she asks, when is the best time to visit New Zealand for warm weather? Lisa doesn't want to be cold.
Okay, so the best time would to be during New Zealand's summer, which, because New Zealand is located in the southern hemisphere, summer runs
December,
from...
January, February.
Oh yeah, you know, top marks to you. Yeah, so those are the best months to come. However, the warm weather does also sort of start during November, running through those summer months, and then starts to get a little bit cooler by the end of March, say. So yeah, summer, come for New Zealand summer and you'll find the warmest weather.
Indeed, and we would personally recommend mostly November or March, which are on the 2 other ends, because that means there are going to be less tourists to share the hiking pathways, for instance.
Unless you love tourists,
yes,
and then you'll want to come in December and then January and then February.
What she says. All right, more information on NZ Pocket Guide, of course. The next question comes from Robert and says, does it snow in New Zealand? And if so, where can I see the snow?
It does snow in New Zealand.
Does it?
Yes, it does, but not everywhere. A lot of people kind of have in their minds that, oh my God, in winter, I'm going to have snow chains everywhere I go on my car. But that's not the case. Snow is definitely more just sort of centralized in the mountainous regions.
Yeah.
So in the South Island, there is the long mountain chain that goes right down the center called the Southern Alps, and that is pretty snowy for the vast majority of winter. And then in the North Island, right in the center of the North Island, you have Mount Ruapehu and the Mount Tongariro and Naruhoe area. All that area does get very snowy in winter. But
oh, sorry, you go.
But in summer as well, you'll see snow in the highest of the mountains area. So that's like Mount Cook, Franz Joseph area, like right up in those mountains, has snow on them all year round. So in terms of the best places to see the snow, definitely a good option would be to go to Mount Cook Village at any time of the year, because you will see snow on the mountain tops. But if you want to experience snow, say if you're coming in winter, you could go up to, there are roads going up to the ski areas, Mount Ruapehu on the North Island, or going to the mountainous areas in Queenstown on the South Island. There would be some easy go-tos to go see the snow.
And if you want to cheat and you're coming to New Zealand in summer and you still really want to see snow, well, check out some of the glacier hiking options where you can go on top of Franz Joseph Glacier, Fox Glacier, and Tasman Glacier in Mount Cook, where you'd still be able to experience ice and snow conditions for as long as the glaciers stay around. But more information on NZ Pocket Guide to plan your trip to New Zealand before those natural wonders are destroyed by global warming. Next question.
Travel is fun.
It makes you positive. That's what's good. Okay, so a question from Emma, the next one. And is there a rainy season in New Zealand, or is it more something specific to like the tropical South Pacific Islands?
Yeah, that's definitely more specific to the tropical South Pacific Islands. New Zealand is not a tropical island. It actually experiences 4 different seasons, so your spring, summer, autumn and winter, compared to the tropical islands a bit further north in the South Pacific. They are islands that would have a dry season and a wet season. So in short, no.
And yeah, if we have to pick the season that has the most rain in New Zealand, though, that would be autumn in New Zealand, which runs from June to August, because we have the opposite side at the northern hemisphere. And the rainiest part of New Zealand would be the Fjord National Park and the West Coast. So if you're really allergic to the rain, what was your name, Emma? Yeah, avoid those areas and travel in summer, and you're still going to be rained on, but maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
More info on NZ Pocket Guide for you to plan your trip. Fabio says he's going to skip the Patreon part because he has to do some work. And he say, or some stuff, sorry. I thought you said work. And then he say, but I will try to drop it next week. Oh, that is fun. Awesome time.
Nice.
All right. All right. Let's get Laura some numbers. Laura, next questions come from Jack. Jack says, how cold does it get in New Zealand during winter? Will I be freezing to death?
You won't be.
I'm scared, Laura, says Jack.
You will not be freezing to death unless you say go up to a mountain area and then sort of camp outside
in your jeans.
in your jeans. Because yeah, in winter, in those really cold mountainous areas, particularly towards the bottom of the South Island, maybe in the top of the mountains in the Southern Alps or Fiordland, you will get those temperatures like minus 10 degrees Celsius.
That's 14 degrees freedom units.
Thank you, my on the go translator of the units right here. Converter would be a more appropriate word. And then yeah, in the North Island, the climate can be very different, or at least even on the coast as well. But there is warmer temperatures in the north of the North Island, particularly around Auckland. It doesn't even tend to drop below 10 degrees Celsius in winter.
50 freedom units.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends where you travel, but if you want to avoid if you want to avoid cold temperatures, then stick to the top of the North Island.
Here you go. I hope that helps you, Jack. More information about the weather on NZ Pocket Guide. We literally have articles for every month, what to pack, what to do in all those months. It's quite handy, so check it out. It's all free. Michael Mayer is here and says, was it just a normal rainy day in spring, or was it an unnormal much rain? By the way, thanks for all the tips and guides. We use it a lot.
You mean at the moment with the rain that we're having actually in New Zealand right now?
It's quite a lot, but
Yeah, it's actually quite common. Like
yeah.
in spring, you do tend to have like those few days where it will be like really heavy rain. But I don't know how long you've been around in New Zealand, particularly at this moment. But even a few days ago, we did have a few days of quite nice sunny weather. So you will get this sort of and that's the ever-changing weather in New Zealand. So it'll be like nice and sunny, and then all of a sudden you will have some just days of absolute downpour. And so it really is changeable, and it is quite normal, especially in spring.
Yeah.
It's more like this in spring and in autumn, where it's really changeable between the days.
If we misunderstood your question, Michael, just just elaborate, and
Yeah.
we'll take it again. No stress at all. I appreciate you, my friend. All right. In the meantime, we're gonna go for the next question. The next question In the meantime, we're gonna go for the next question, and the next question comes from Harry. He's a wizard, and he says, "Do I need sunblock on cloudy days in New Zealand?" Yes, Harry. You're pale as an Englishman. You do need sunblock all the time. But the real answer is
Yes, Harry.
yes, Harry.
Yes, you do need sunblock, even if it is cloudy, especially basically as soon as you get out of winter. So going into the months of September and onwards through December, February, December, January, February, even to say around May. You probably will want to have.
So all that is like summer, so you definitely do need
yeah.
a lot of sunscreen, yeah.
Yeah, so you will have to have sunscreen even on cloudy days. So yeah, definitely recommend sunscreen.
If you want recommendation, Harry, I don't know why I like that name so much, but on NZ Pocket Guide we list eco-friendly sunscreen that we tested ourselves. They are reef safe, they're not bad for you, etc. And they do work because, well, what we recommend, we test it ourselves on the guide. So you can check it out. It's all free. That's our recommendation for what to use. Sorry, what were you about to say?
I wasn't about to say anything. Just if it's cloud. Oh yeah, another thing. Do wear sunblock even in winter if you're going to alpine areas. So if you're going snowboarding or skiing, still take sunblock up with you. That's where it gets you.
Nice.
Creeps up on you.
All right. Fabio is asking, is there an Insta Live too? No, I was trying to figure it out. I'm not there yet. I will try. I will one day. One day I'll understand how the internet works. So far, baby steps. Okay, that's the first time we successfully do something vertical. And we stuffed it up last week. I did a test the week before and I stuffed it up. And this morning, we went live on the wrong stream, started it, and then we talked for 9 minutes on this stream before you showed up, Fabio, and said, "Hey, are you live?" Because I can't see the video, and then realized the video wasn't live. And so then we restarted. So baby steps, right?
Maybe next week we'll go on Instagram.
What I don't understand is why, we've been doing for like 7 years horizontal videos. Why is it so bloody hard to do vertical videos? I do not understand it. But that's fine. Also, what I'd love to hear from everybody right now. First, we have like 8-9 people. That's like way more than we've had in a very long time. So that's awesome. Can we hear if like that new format's kind of working for you? Just going through questions and everything. Also, as soon as I thank everybody, 4 people left.
They are way too happy about this.
I know. It's kind of like my presence make people happy. Bam, I'm gone. The internet should be a miserable place. All right, cool. Next question about the weather in New Zealand comes from Brian. Brian says, will rain affect my plans for visiting Milford Sound? Haven't you heard that Milford Sound is the Fjorden National Park, and in the Fjorden National Park you will have more rain than pretty much many places on Earth. It is one of the wettest places on the planet, so probably not going to affect your trip to Milford Sound because they are equipped for it. Laura, elaborate.
Yes, so if your plan is to come to Milford Sound and have a beautiful sunny day with not a single drop of rain, then indeed your plans will be ruined. But
I've got bad news for you, sir.
So, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it is so wet in Milford Sound, and there is no way to sort of, avoid the rain a lot of the time. You just have to go with the flow. But the good news is that pretty much all the activities are still on in Milford Sound when it's raining, all except for, say, sometimes helicopter flights and scuba diving. Which
the operators doesn't operate there anymore, so they're closed. Moving on.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep.
I wonder why. Probably because they could never be open. Yeah, so but all the cruises are still available during, when it's super rainy. And in fact, some may argue that it is
They
better.
are more fun.
It
Yeah,
is better
yeah.
under the rain. So what you see during a rainy Milford Sound cruise is a ton more of waterfalls.
Yes.
It's amazing. So yeah, you'll see waterfalls left, right, and center. Compared to when it's dry weather, you still see waterfalls, but you don't see as many. So yeah, some might say it's better under the rain. So I would say get yourself prepared by taking all your wet weather gear. They do have some wet weather gear and ponchos on board in some of the cruises, and they have indoor sections as well if you want to avoid being out in the rain. So just go with the flow and enjoy a rainy Milford Sound trip.
Here you go, more information for your trip to Milford Sound on NZ Pocket Guide. We have the best cruises that we've tested ourselves. We have the best tours to get there that we tested ourselves. And we have all the other things you can be doing in Milford Sound that most people don't talk about. There are dozens of awesome things to do there. Don't be a tourist. Travel with the expert. Check NZ Pocket Guide. That sounds like a fun catchphrase. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Next question, Prasad asks, what should I wear for the New Zealand weather?
What should you wear for the New Zealand weather? You should wear
layers.
Basically, be prepared for any weather scenario. So yeah, wear layers. Take a day pack with you where you can have your rain jacket in there just in case. You can have maybe an extra mid layer so you can bulk up if you need that extra warmth, and also have room in your backpack to take off some layers, because yes, sometimes it is sunny and nice and warm in New Zealand and you realize, oh gosh, I put way too much on for the weather today when the weather suddenly changes. So yeah, being really flexible with your clothing is absolutely essential in New Zealand.
Indeed. So the main thing to wear for the New Zealand weather is a day pack, because like that you can take off or put back on some layers, because it will change throughout the day pretty much for sure. I hope that helps. We have articles on what to pack for your trip to New Zealand on NZ Pocket Guide. Check it out. It's so free. We've done that for decades. We know what we talk about. Kinda.
Can't you see it on his face?
Yeah.
A
Come
whole
on.
decade of doing this.
I'm old. Cool. Fabio says it's quite cool, this new format. I like it. Thank you very much, mate. Anyone else want to pitch in? Just let us know. You guys.
Is it yay or nay? Let us know.
Speaking of yay or nay, the next question comes indubitably from somebody that is based in the UK. Sarah. Because half the women in the UK are called Sarah. The other half called Laura.
Yes.
Cool. The question from Sarah is, can I still go hiking during winter in New Zealand? Short answer, yes, but don't do the Tongariro Crossing or any other alpine hikes. Real full answer.
I mean, that pretty much wraps it up. But yeah, hiking in winter is really awesome. You get to experience most of the hiking trails all to yourself. So you get all that beautiful scenery, with no people in the way. It's just oh, it's beautiful. If you imagine a secluded, beautiful, solitary experience in nature, then hiking in winter is just that. It's really amazing in New Zealand. However, yes, in the alpine regions, like the famous Tongariro Alpine Crossing, if you want to do any other hikes, maybe up into the mountains, say in Mount Cook, or there's a ton of mountainous regions in New Zealand.
We do have a lot of mountains here.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we're famous for.
Yeah, basically anywhere up really high into some alpine environments where there's likely to be snow and ice, you'll have to have all specialized equipment for that. You will need more of going into the mountaineering side of things. So that's a whole different ball game. And in the for the Tongariro Alpine Crossing, you can do it with guides in winter. So that's an option, but in short, best to stick to the other trails if you're just looking for your normal hikes, and most of them are open in winter.
And quick safety advice, tell someone your plan if you're planning to hike alone in winter in New Zealand. If you don't have any friends in New Zealand, it's all good. I know you're traveling through, at least tell your accommodation provider. So if something bad happens, they come looking for you, or at least they send help. All right, more information on NZ Pocket Guide about everything you need to know about traveling in New Zealand in the winter, as well as our favorite things to do in winter in New Zealand. All right. Next question comes from Undercover Voldemort, Mr. Tom Riddle, asking. It's just Tom.
Just Tom.
Maybe it's Tom from MySpace. It's kind of like I made my money, now I'm just kind of traveling around.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, here you go. He was my friend once. I'm old. All right.
He was my first friend too. My first official internet friend.
Woo! He was the friend of so many. Shout out if Tom was your first internet friend. Lord, I haven't thought about MySpace in so long. Anyway, he asked, how windy is New Zealand and should I be concerned?
I don't think you should be concerned.
Tom is concerned.
Yeah, don't be concerned. It's not something to be afraid of. There are certainly places that are windier than others. For instance, Wellington, which is the capital of New Zealand, is famous for being very windy.
Yep, I lost one umbrella in Wellington. That's the one umbrella I lost in New Zealand. And I learned that umbrellas were a stupid idea in New Zealand, so don't pack an umbrella.
Yeah, basically it's windy enough to make umbrellas really useless and just break them instantly. So always best to have a rain jacket instead with a hood that can sort of defeat the elements a bit more, or not defeat the elements, but
rain jacket beats up that damn storm. That'll teach you, stupid storm.
Yeah, maybe defeat is not quite right, but yeah, be prepared for just keeping yourself protected from the elements.
Yes. If you have any rain jackets which are like really, really good and that could inflict a fatality into any of the New Zealand clouds and weathers and storms and rains, just make sure you comment them in the description below so I can buy myself one.
Yes.
Here you go.
Yeah, so windy, nothing to be concerned about. It is windy sometimes, though. And yeah, rain jacket's a good way to block off the wind.
All right, more info on NZ Pocket Guide when we talk about everything about the weather and all that good stuff. And if you want to click some of the buttons to say thank you, there is a lot of buttons that the algorithm wants you to click. So do that. Thank you. Also, a quick shout out to the 7 people that are currently watching us live. If you have any questions, you have us all to yourself. So if you're planning a trip to New Zealand or any of the South Pacific nations, which are scrolling down there are travel guides that we do, and we travel to those places regularly to update them. Just ask. We're here for you. Just the live chat. It's your place, not my place. So yeah, it's in one may say it's my place. Why am I into MySpace today? What's going on? Okay. Next question that we received about New Zealand weather. It's a bit of a stretch, but at some points I have to gather 20 questions of you guys which are not too repetitive. So this one comes from Jess, and she said, is it safe to swim in the ocean in New Zealand in winter? So first up, Laura, get us started. What's winter in New Zealand?
Winter in New Zealand is June, July and August. Is it safe to swim? It's safe. I mean, as long as you're not going like into a stormy ocean, but it will be very cold. I mean, it's not usually comfortable to go swimming in the ocean during winter. The temperature, they can drop down to 10 degrees in places like Auckland.
That's 50-degree freedom unit.
Yes. So, I mean, if you're feeling that, to combine with 10 degrees Celsius, the warmest it's probably going to be as you're traveling around New Zealand in winter, and then coming out, going for a swim, coming out in that temperature, it's going to be pretty chilly. So safe, sure. Good idea, probably not.
Got a tip for you if you really want to swim in New Zealand in the sea in winter. How about you try Hot Water Beach? And just go on NZ Pocket Guide, read about Hot Water Beach. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can find some hot water there, and that will solve all your problems.
Indeed. All right. Next question comes from Mark and says, how does the weather affect driving in New Zealand? The truth, the locals won't care and still drive recklessly, but you, as somebody that probably will have a rented vehicle, will want to be a bit more cautious.
Yeah,
go for it.
Of course. Driving to the conditions is always essential in New Zealand. If you have very wet weather, which can make the roads maybe a bit slippery, that sort of thing, you want to slow down. All those sort of usual driving,
increase the distance between you and the other vehicle, all that.
Yes. All those sort of common sense driving rules still apply for the different weather conditions that can happen in New Zealand. Maybe a thing that some people aren't used to is driving over mountainous regions. So there are mountain passes, especially on the South Island. For instance, Arthur's Pass, there is Lewis Pass, there's Hast Pass. Some of these passes can get snow on them during winter, and then that's point, it is best to have snow chains on your vehicle available, or wait until a couple of days later and the roads have pretty much cleared up. Sometimes it's a bit of a waiting game. So yeah, that's how it can affect the road conditions, the weather. Always good is a good idea to, if you have an inkling there may be some, some shenanigans going on with the weather and the road, then you can look onto the New Zealand Transport Agency website, which lists whether roads are open or closed and sometimes what the conditions are. So it's kind of good to plan before you're setting out.
Indeed, more information about the weather and even about tips for driving in New Zealand on NZ Pocket Guide. Check it out, my friend. The next question comes from Chloe, and Chloe asks, is there a cyclone season? Bonjour. All right. Next question comes from Chloe, and she asks, is there a cyclone season in New Zealand?
You can't contain the French. Sorry.
Hey, Laura, the next question comes from Chloe, and she asks, is there a cyclone season in New Zealand?
So no, there is not a cyclone season in New Zealand. There is a cyclone season in the South Pacific, which New Zealand is located in the South Pacific, but luckily for New Zealand, it's usually a bit further south than where cyclones would normally affect New Zealand.
So if you're traveling in the South Pacific, when around is the cyclone season?
So the cyclone season starts from November, goes all the way through end of the year, beginning of the year, up until April. So that's the South Pacific cyclone season. Sometimes on some occasions when there has been cyclones in the South Pacific, it will send, for instance, storms and stuff, like more of the back end of a tropical cyclone towards New Zealand. So it can affect the weather, say during New Zealand's summer, a little bit. So it's something to be aware of, but not something to feel that you are in danger because of.
Okay. Yeah, no cyclone season. But if you're planning on traveling in the South Pacific, you will want to plan around that. And that for this reason, we advise you to check out our travel guide. So we have Fiji Pocket Guide, Cook Islands Pocket Guide, the one written down here, etc. There's plenty of them. Check them out. We got you covered. Okay, Laura, you're going to come back here a little bit again. You keep on moving away from me.
That's migrating.
Yeah, I know. Like, just stop pushing me away, hey, women. Okay. So next question comes from Olivia. So complete opposite question than the one we had before. So Olivia asks, is summer too hot for hiking in New Zealand?
No, it's not too hot for hiking. You as long as you have good sun protection on, it's more of a case of not being overheated by the sun.
Yeah, so drink a lot as well. Like pack way more water than you think you need.
Pack lots of water. Pack, wear a hat, have layers that are covering, like not like thick layers, but you can, the more of your skin that you're covering, protecting yourself from the sun, you're going to feel less of the effects of things like heat stroke and that sort of thing.
And when we have to talk about temperatures, in summer in New Zealand, you will be between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it goes a little higher, but that's usually what you can expect. In Freedom Unit, that'd be 68 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure you drink enough water, and if you want to prepare yourself for a trip, there is a couple of very good websites. There is the getprepared.co.nz, I think, which is kind of a website from the New Zealand government telling you how to prepare for a hike, or you can check NZ Pocket Guide. We do have plenty of information about that. I think it's Adventure Smart. You'll find it online if you use like Bing or DuckDuckGo, one of those online search engine. Next up, Girish says, hi, do you remember me? That sounds like a song. Do you remember me? Girish, I have to apologize. I do not remember the specifics of us chatting together, but if we did help you plan your trip, we're happy we have done so. And if you have any extra questions, go for it. I'm here to help.
Yeah, and please help us jog our memory. Let us know what we helped you with last time.
Yeah. We're old. We've established during this show that I'm old. I'm losing my mind. Stop laughing. I'm not that old. All right. Next question, Laura, that we got about the weather. Something a little adjacent this one, but will I be able to see the Southern Lights in New Zealand? Asks James. It's guaranteed, right? You can write it down. It's a certificate of guarantee you'll be able to, right?
Oh, it's kind of hard to see the Southern Lights in New Zealand. However, you definitely can see the Southern Lights in New Zealand, but you need to have perfect conditions in order to do so. Best time to travel in New Zealand would be during the winter months. Again, we're talking the months of June, July, and August. Getting to more alpine areas often gives you better views of the southern lights. The darkest time of the night, so being up at say midnight, 1 a.m. is usually the best time.
That's crazy hour. I'm sleeping.
Clear skies is also obviously preferable. So yeah, there's a lot of conditions to meet in order to see some really good southern lights viewings, but by all means you could definitely see them in New Zealand.
Indeed. We do have a full guide of the southern lights in New Zealand on NZ Pocket Guide, where we talk about what are those perfect conditions, how to kind of get optimum viewing, and how to kind of almost chase them around New Zealand during your trip. So yeah, if you want to dive a little more into that, check out NZ Pocket Guide. It's all free.
Free.
Girish says, I followed you guys from COVID. Oh, that seems like a long time ago, COVID. I'm glad this is gone. I'm not thinking about it too much anymore. Happy days.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to have you on board, mate. Have you made it to New Zealand? Did you get to come and enjoy this beautiful country of ours? Hopefully you did. I wish for you to do so. Okay, so the next question about the weather in New Zealand comes from Emily. Emily will travel in spring. What will the weather be like?
Spring in New Zealand is between September and November. So yeah, the spring it's a little bit variable. So you will have the good news is that the temperatures are starting to increasingly get warmer. Going in because obviously spring is between winter and summer. Do I need to explain that to people? Probably not. So yeah, it does start to get a little bit warmer, but you do get very variable weather. You will have, as we are actually filming this right now during spring, you'll have some days of beautiful warm sunshine, and then you'll have days of just heavy downpours. It's really all over the place, but as long as you are fully prepared for all scenarios, it's usually quite a nice time. It's not too cold. It's quite comfortable to travel in spring, and also it has the added benefit of being outside of the tourist season, so it's usually quieter, not too many too many camper vans on the road, not too many people on your hiking trails. So if you are sort of looking for, nice, easy, quiet travel around, then spring's a good time.
And on NZ Pocket Guide, we have a travel guide of spring in New Zealand with our favorite things to do there and the things you need to know before traveling in New Zealand in spring. So check that out. MV's movies, I guess, say, should I send you a super chat? Absolutely not, mate. You don't need to give that much money to Google. They keep a big chunk of it. It makes no sense. If you want to support our work, you can join us on Patreon, or you can go on nzpocketguide.com, browse around, interact with the site. There is even PDF travel guide you can buy in there, or you can just literally like us and engage with us on all the social medias and all those kind of things. But sending us a super chat, not really helpful. You just will give money to Google and very little to us. So save your hard-earned money. Plan your trip to New Zealand. We do our work for free because we believe it needs to be done, not because we try to take your money. We're not digital beggars. Joe Jones says 27 in Hawke's Bay today. Whoa, that is pretty good. Warm. So we are in central North Island. We definitely don't have this kind of weather just yet, and the storm is on the horizon. So Joe Jones, good on you, mate.
Yeah.
Maybe we come for a visit. How about you bake us some scones and we'll make it there. We can make it there when the scones come out of the oven.
Yeah,
How about that?
We'll be there in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Get. Also, that's too long for making scones, my friend. You're too slow making scones. I'm judging you now, Joe Jones. All right. But yeah, any questions about traveling in New Zealand? Everybody, go nuts. We're here for you. Or even the South Pacific. Go for it. Girish says, I'm planning to come. Can we meet by any chance? Oh, that's fun. So we do organize meetups from time to time. You can check out our Patreons for that. It just depends on timing, planning, and everything. We do travel obviously a lot around since we run travel guides for New Zealand and a lot of the South Pacific. So if the stars aligns, by all means, we've met probably half a dozen of our Patreons so far.
Yeah.
We go for coffees or something. It's kind of fun to sit down and chat. Okay, moving on to the next question. We have a question from Luke. Are you my father? Was she my sister?
Do you have a comment for every person's name?
I won't judge every name. Okay, so the next question comes from Luke. Does the weather affect whale watching in Kaikoura?
Believe it or not, no, it doesn't. The whale watching season in New Zealand is all year round in Kaikoura. So you can see sperm whales. They're there like all the time. They love it. They love Kaikoura. They do not want to leave. So, so
I've
yeah.
asked them. I've interviewed them. They say, I love Kaikoura. They wear the t-shirt with a big heart, big red heart.
Yes. So, yeah, there should be an an AI photo of that. Like, you need to make that on.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see a sperm whale wearing a I Heart Kaikoura t-shirt on. Anyway, yeah, so they are there all year round. So that's a great thing. Whether that would maybe affect your whale watching trip, if you want to do, say, a scenic flight over the whales, sometimes that might be cancelled due to bad weather. That goes for any sort of aircraft sort of activity. And in terms of the cruise, that rarely gets cancelled. So maybe in really, really, really bad storms, but otherwise you don't really need to care too much about the weather when it comes to whale watching. You can enjoy it whenever you feel like.
Yeah, the weather is very changeable in New Zealand, and most companies, especially tourism businesses, have adapted to it. So you should be good with that. You should be 100% fine.
Yeah.
If you want more information, not written by AI, you can check out NZ Pocket Guide. It's the largest travel guide to New Zealand. It's written by experts like us, going all around all the time.
Yeah. Only rely on AI if you want to see a picture of a whale in Kaikoura wearing a I Heart Kaikoura t-shirt.
So Girish is asking if we travel a lot outside of New Zealand. We do. So we do travel guides for a lot of the South Pacific nations. Laura, name them.
Yeah, so we do travel guides for Tonga, Niue, Samoa, for Fiji and the Cook Islands. So this is all basically within a 3-hour flight of New Zealand. So yeah, everywhere is sort of within the South Pacific region that we personally travel to and we personally cover. Yeah, so we do have websites for all of those regions. So if you are thinking about, oh, maybe if I come to New Zealand, I can check out what else is in the vicinity, then by all means, take a look at them.
Yeah. And we pride ourselves on making sure that all our content is actually well researched. But you know, when Laura asks, I like to deliver. So let me just put that.
Robin's going to share with you all something very fantastic that. So yeah, to answer the question from Luke. Does the weather affect whale watching in Kaikoura? Then let this picture tell you. No, it does not. The sperm whales love it in Kaikoura. They just do not want to leave. And here's the evidence, which is definitely legit.
Yes, this is 100% correct.
This is what you will see if you come to New Zealand. And if you go whale watching... This is what all the whales come out and they all look like this.
There you go.
But
okay.
We're not here to spread misinformation.
No. Okay.
Just fun jokes. Okay, what's the next question?
Honestly, all this beautiful computing power could solve all the world's problem and all the climate and everything. But no, that's what it's used for. That's amazing. Okay, Laura, Mia, ask you a question.
Oh yeah, what
yes.
did she ask?
She's like, where is Mama?
Okay, so there's our judgment on the name. Now let's
Yes.
move on to the question.
Okay, what's the driest part of New Zealand, Laura?
Okay, the driest part of New Zealand are in the central Otago region in the South Island. So central Otago it's a couple of hours drive from, say, Queenstown. Like, Queenstown is actually located in central Otago, but the driest parts are just a little bit further away from Queenstown. So we're talking about the towns of Alexandra, Cromwell, Clyde, that sort of area are very, very dry conditions and really well known for, say, their grape growing, their fruit, their crops, that sort of thing, viticulture. So yeah, they're definitely the driest places to go. Nearest sort of tourist towns to that, though, are Queenstown and Wanaka. So yeah, more reasons to enjoy these really beautiful tourist hotspots that they are.
Indeed. More information on NZ Pocket Guide to help you plan your trip in any kind of weather. There you go. Awesome. All right, let's see what's going on in the live chat. Rick says kia ora. Girish says thank you. You're very welcome, Girish. Rick, welcome back. Where are you?
Yeah, kia
Are you
ora.
still in where was it? Corom? No, not Coromandel. Tauranga, or have
Tauranga,
you
yeah.
moved on a little bit? And Movies says, you guys look good, dude. Give her a good kiss. It's not this kind of show, my friend. I mean, the internet has enough of these kind of things. We are the 10% of the internet that doesn't do the notice on camera. So
Do you really want that on this channel? Really?
Rarely,
Really?
rarely. Our job is to be very boring in talking about New Zealand and being very factual, right? We leave the rest of making things look pretty or kissing each other's to the influencers, right? That's not our thing. All right, so we'll stick around for another 5 minutes. If you have any questions about traveling in New Zealand or anywhere in the South Pacific, go for it. If you want us to judge harshly your name, that's what I do apparently every single time. So yeah, that's it.
And to answer the question, what is the driest part of New Zealand? It's right here on this channel. Anyway.
Fun. At least we find it funny. I don't know if you find it funny, but we find it funny. Cool. Girish says, is there skydiving in New Zealand? Of course there is skydiving in New Zealand. It's a great thing to do. You can actually see us do skydiving on this channel in about like 4 or 5 places. You can even see me do skydiving with a broken arm. I literally have an arm in the cast and I do skydiving in the Bay of Island, I think. So yeah, skydiving is present in New Zealand. My favorite place to skydive in New Zealand is actually Franz Josef Glacier.
But that's my favorite.
I don't care. I took it first. Yeah, so why is it Franz Josef Glacier my favorite place to skydive in New Zealand? Let me tell you, Girish, since you're asking. Girish, it is giving you beautiful mountain views. You can also see the seas if you turn your head. It has the option to go super, super high.
You can see the glacier.
You can see the glacier, which is really cool. And yeah,
braided rivers going to the sea.
Okay, is that your favorite or is it
yeah,
mine?
it is my favorite.
Okay, well then let's have a fight. Girish screams at his screen. He's like, "How much does it cost, Laura?"
Okay, it costs a lot. Okay, so it is between basically between 500 New Zealand dollars and 700, somewhere in that price range,
depending on your options, basically.
Yeah, because there's different options for flying. You can start usually quite low at like 13,000 feet up to about, I think it's 19,000.
Oh my God. You know what? I just googled it because I wanted to. I just googled it because I wanted to find it, right? And I went on damn Google, and all of it was ads. I don't know about you guys, but the results on Google are absolutely appalling. That's why now I use like Bing or DuckDuckGo, but like on this one here, I got, for some reason, I got Google.
I don't know if you can tell, guys, but we're slowly falling out of love with Google.
Oh my God, it's horrible results. Okay, so skydiving, 18,000 feet, $800.
Yeah.
You need to pay extra to get photographers and everything like that, but buy $800 for 18,000 feet. And if you want to go just 13,000 feet, it's $429. Here you go. Here's the price. Live. Boom. Done.
He says for 18. Did we do 18,000 feet? Yeah.
18,000 feet, $799 New Zealand. You can convert it, mate. Come on. You've got the internet. Go on DuckDuckGo. I love DuckDuckGo. I don't know why you're laughing. It's really good.
I love Ecosia.
Yeah, that's good as well.
It uses Bing and it plants trees for you, but it stopped tracking my trees. So I'm kind of like, how many trees have I planted?
And what I like about Bing as well is like how visual the results are. They're really good. I do like Bing. So yeah, honestly, my number one travel tips now is actually using Bing for your tree, because I found even like really cool like little niche blogs and everything like that. Like I find actually genuine results.
Yeah.
Like when you go on Google, it's just ads and companies that paid for it, or like SEO AI written content. It's horrible. Yes. So yeah. Cool. Rick says Wellington at the moment, and he says love the joke. Well, the further away from us you drive, the more the jokes get worse. So here you go. Go to the South Island, they're gonna get way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you up to in Wellington?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing. Like, tell us what you're doing. What have you done? What have you seen?
Yeah.
How windy is it?
Also, in about 5 minutes, we'll do the Patreon call as well. If you want to join, that'd be fun. Anthony kicking us out, say stay safe, but I'm here until the end. No stress. Any other questions about traveling in New Zealand, everybody?
Yeah. And if you want to see that picture of the whale again, just give us just let us know in the comments if you want to see the whale.
I think Laura wants to see the whale. I think that's Laura begging to see the
I
whale.
know. I
right
might
here.
just comment myself in the chat to see the whale.
Here's the whale, Laura.
Yay.
Why did you find that so funny?
You know, back in the day, you could just have these pictures in your head and be like, "Ha, that would be hilarious." But now you can see them, and you don't even have to use your own creativity. It's great.
I wish I still had to draw those things though. You know, it's kind of like I think AI should take off or load the daily chores, the oven cleaning, the cleaning of the house
That
or
would
the
be
bathroom
better.
and everything, rather than create like you know the creativity. I'd rather have nothing to do throughout my day and have to paint that thing. It'd be horrible. It'd be literally laughably bad. But yeah,
You could be definitely more proud
yeah,
and be like, this was a picture that was needed in the world, and I delivered.
yeah. Well, we kind of did.
Yeah.
Happy days. This is probably going to become a what's those things? Those NFT. If you guys want that as an NFT to waste your money on it, I don't know. That's what people do nowadays. Same thing. Like I'd say to movies, we don't want your money. Don't do it. Here you go. All right. Yeah. Since there's no more questions right here, we'll take a quick break and then we'll do a Patreon show. So if you're not on Patreon just yet, you can join us if you want. That's one way you can give us money. And yeah, we do weekly group calls when we can chit chat about your trip in New Zealand and help you out plan your trip in a more personal way. And it's a great way to reward our hard work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We see you next week. If you have some ideas of theme like this one, we can be doing this one with the weather in New Zealand, where we pull all the questions that we received over the last decade about this topic, just let us know. Rick says, I'm not subscribed anymore, so bye. Oh, no. Well, you can still join. You know where the link is. It's no stress. Always the same link. It doesn't matter. Don't sweat it. You're still on the Facebook group, mate. You know, we don't kick people out. You know, even if you choose to support us for a couple of months, it still means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no, like, we're not kicking you out. You kick yourself out. We don't kick you out. No, we don't do that. All right. Everybody, have a lovely, Sunday for us, Saturday for a lot of you around the world. Bye-bye. See you next week.
See ya.